The story of the bronze serpent, known as the Nahashtan, begins after the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. As they journeyed through the desert, they grew impatient and started to complain against God and Moses. In response, God sent fiery serpents among them, causing many to die. This incident is recorded in Numbers 21 verses 4-9. Then they set out from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom, and the people became impatient because of the journey. So the people spoke against God and Moses, "Why have you brought us up from Egypt to die in the wilderness? For there is no food and no water, and we are disgusted with this miserable food." Then the Lord sent fiery serpents among the people, and they bit the people, so that many people of Israel died. So the people came to Moses and said, "We have sinned because we have spoken against the Lord and against you. Intercede with the Lord that he will remove the serpents from us." And Moses interceded for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole, and it shall come about that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, he will live." So Moses made a bronze serpent and set it on the pole. And it came about that if a serpent bit any man, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. Frustrated by the difficult route meant to avoid hostile Edom, the Israelites reverted to their usual complaints. Despite God's protection for 40 years, they doubted him, leading to the divine punishment of sending venomous snakes. The likely culprits were the highly poisonous carpet vipers, though other snakes like the puff adder and sand viper were considered. Interestingly, God's command to look at the bronze serpent for healing had no logical explanation but served as a unique miracle. This incident highlights the serpent's symbolic role as evil throughout the Bible, appearing in both Genesis and Revelation. Years later, something peculiar happened. The Israelites began worshiping the bronze serpent Moses had made. This is recorded in 2 Kings 18 verse 4, where Hezekiah, during his reforms, destroyed the Nahashtan because it had become an object of idolatry. This transformation from a symbol of God's miraculous salvation to an idol demonstrates how easily divine objects can be twisted into tools of idol worship. When Hezekiah became king, Judah was under Assyrian control, and his reign was marked by significant religious reforms. The story of the Nahashtan serves as a reminder of the importance of keeping faith in God's true intentions and not letting sacred symbols become idols. In ancient times, King Hezekiah launched a bold campaign to eliminate idolatry in Judah. He tore down the high places and destroyed the bronze serpent mentioned in Numbers 21. This serpent, which had been a symbol of miraculous healing, had become an idol. Hezekiah called it Nehushtan, meaning a bronze thing in Hebrew, to remind the people it was just a piece of brass and not divine. Hezekiah trusted God more than any other king of Judah, making him the best king. As stated in 2 Kings 18 verse 4 Amplified Bible, he removed the high places, smashed the sacred stones, and cut down the Asherah poles. He broke into pieces the bronze serpent Moses had made, for up to that time the Israelites had been burning incense to it. This teaches us that even something that once brought divine healing can become an idol, leading to disobedience to God's commands. The bronze serpent was a tool for God's deliverance during the incident in Numbers 21. However, its power was always from God, not the object itself. This reminds us to direct our worship and gratitude solely towards God. Jesus mentioned the bronze serpent as a foreshadowing of his own crucifixion, where he would take away sin from anyone who believes in him, just as the Israelites looked to the serpent in the desert for healing. Another notable instance of idolatry is the creation of the golden calf. This idol was crafted by Aaron, a respected spiritual leader, during a significant event recorded in Exodus 32. After the Israelites escaped Egypt and God parted the Red Sea to save them from the Egyptians, they found themselves waiting for Moses, who was on Mount Sinai receiving the 10 Commandments. Growing impatient, they asked Aaron to make gods to lead them, saying, "Come, make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him." Exodus 32 verse 1. This episode illustrates how quickly people can turn to false idols when they lose patience or faith, even after witnessing God's miracles. It's a powerful reminder to remain steadfast in faith and not let impatience lead us away from true worship. While Moses was on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights receiving instructions from the Lord, the Israelites grew impatient. Tired of waiting, they dismissed Moses, who had led them out of slavery, saying, "We don't know what happened to him." They demanded that Aaron make an idol to lead them in place of Moses and the Lord, directly rejecting the first 2 commandments and breaking their vow to obey God. Aaron told them to bring their gold, which he used to create a golden calf. This act of creating and worshiping the calf was a rejection of God, who had delivered them from Egypt. The Israelites praised the idol, saying, "This is your God, Israel, who brought you up from the land of Egypt." Exodus 32, verses 2 to 4. Aaron then built an altar in front of the calf and proclaimed a feast to the Lord, during which the people offered burnt and peace offerings. However, their celebration involved corrupt practices from other nations, such as drunkenness and immorality. The Apostle Paul later warned the Corinthians against idolatry by referencing this event. Meanwhile, Moses, unaware of the Israelites' actions, was informed by God that the people had quickly turned away from him. God referred to them as a stiff-necked people and threatened to destroy them, offering to make Moses the patriarch of a new nation. But Moses pleaded with God to spare the Israelites, showing his deep concern for their fate. Exodus 32, verses 5 to 6. Moses did not appeal to God based on the people's worthiness, but on God's reputation and character. When Moses came down the mountain with the 2 tablets inscribed by God's hand, he heard a commotion from the Israelite camp. Joshua, who was with Moses, mistakenly thought it was an enemy attack, but Moses knew better. When he saw the people dancing around a golden calf, Moses' anger led him to break the tablets, symbolizing how quickly Israel had broken their covenant with God. Moses made the Israelites drink the powder of the burnt calf as a consequence of their sin. Exodus 32, verses 21 to 24. Moses confronted Aaron, asking what the people had done to lead him to such a grave sin. Aaron deflected blame, saying the people were prone to evil, and claimed that when he threw their gold into the fire, the calf appeared. Despite Moses confronting the people, many remained unrepentant. He called out, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me," and the Levites gathered around him. Moses then ordered them to execute God's judgment on the idolaters, resulting in the death of 3,000 men. The next day, Moses reminded the people of their sin and declared he would intercede with God for their forgiveness, even offering his life for theirs if necessary. This powerful act of intercessory prayer highlights the seriousness of sin and the depths of Moses' leadership and love for his people.
If you found this video enjoyable, please consider liking and sharing it. Additionally, subscribing to this channel will ensure that you receive more updates in the future. Thank you.